Thanks, Crispin. We are inside the museum where the traveling Heinz History Center World War II exhibit is on display.
It showcases many impactful people and events from World War II. In one of those events, Hitler himself ordered strikes against an Altoona landmark.
To strike at the Pennsylvania Railroad, and specifically whether it be the Altoona shops or the Horseshoe Curve, really would have hindered America's ability to move troops, move material, natural resources that were necessary.
Without the rail lines regionally here connecting the West with the East, we would not have had a very successful war campaign in Europe.
Months after Germany declared war on the U.S., Adolf Hitler devised a plan to stifle American efforts called Operation Pastorius. He sent men who had been in the country before to target the Horseshoe Curve and Juniata's shops.
There were 8 saboteurs in total. All of them were dropped off on the U.S. coast by U-boat. They were essentially given the orders to blend in and, when the opportunity presented itself, to wreak havoc on key industrial sites.
An attack on the curve would not only impact the movement of supplies to Europe, it was meant to deliver a blow to American morale.
But the Horseshoe Curve was a really well-known, kind of globally celebrated landmark in the 1940s. Striking it would have been akin to hitting the Empire State Building.
Before any of the attacks could be carried out, 2 of the saboteurs turned on the other 6. Delivering evidence of their Nazi affiliation to the FBI.
They were put up on charges of espionage. They were tried by a military tribunal, and all 6 of those guys who were turned in by their fellow conspirators were executed in an electric chair.
The FBI was concerned the men had a connection in the Altoona area.
Here in Altoona, German immigrants and Italians were suspected of treason, of spying for the Germans.
The FBI, the state police, and the Altoona City Police Department raided the predominantly German-American neighborhood known as Dutch Hill. They raided or searched perhaps 250 homes.
Historians have different opinions on whether a successful German attack on the Pennsylvania Railroad would have been a knockout punch.
I think ultimately the Allies still would have prevailed, the United States still would have prevailed, but it most certainly would have put a dent in the war effort.
It would have bottlenecked us and would have suffocated our war efforts in Europe, and quite possibly it could have led to us losing the war.
Now, as we mentioned, we are at the Railroaders Memorial Museum where a traveling World War II exhibit is on display.
There are also several other events going on this summer across Blair County in conjunction with the exhibit. There are lectures, movie screenings, displays, reenactments, and more at other museums and cultural sites. More than a dozen local groups work together to make this possible.
We all sat down and we mapped this out, and we tried to determine what is the best way for Blair County to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the Second World War. And luckily for us, all of those organizations and the people running them really stepped up. There was a strong degree of enthusiasm behind all of this.
For a full list of events, you can head to the Railroaders Museum website.
We'll be live right here from 5:30 to 6 o'clock tonight at the Railroaders Memorial Museum.
And make sure to tune in again, 5:30 to 6, right here. Back to you in the studio, Crispin.
Judging by what you guys have said so far, this will certainly be an interesting one. Thank you, guys. We certainly will be watching.